All right, a lot of you have company retirement plans, 401ks, 403bs, 457 plans, and on and on and on. Today we're going to be talking about why you should never leave money in your company retirement plan when you retire. But before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, click the thumbs up button, give us a like, and make sure you share this video with your friends. Let's get into it.
He watches the markets.
In the great city of Memphis, Tennessee.
If they raise rates tomorrow, it could be a sign of confidence.
The financial advisor extraordinaire.
He's with McAdams Group.
Of course, Wall Street doesn't like rising interest rates.
And I know people from all over the Memphis area come to visit you for help with their RMD.
David McAdams is with us.
David McAdams.
David McAdams.
There are exceptions to the rule.
That's very interesting because that's kind of against conventional wisdom.
That's the insanity of it.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about all the reasons why it's a huge mistake to leave money in your company retirement plan or your 401k plan. Now, when I say 401k, just understand there's lots of different qualified retirement plans. This could be a 401k, a 403b, a 457 plan, and on and on and on. But the point is, you've saved some money, you've accumulated it. You probably put it in there on a pre-tax basis, so it's never been taxed. And it's grown tax deferred, and now you're leaving the company, you're going into your golden years, and you want to enjoy your retirement, but you have this 401k and you're not sure, should I keep it in there or should I roll it over into an IRA? Well, we're going to be talking about why you're probably going to want to roll it over into an IRA. Now, the first reason is, think about it. Company retirement plans, 401ks and the like, they were never really meant for retirees, were they? I mean, think about it. There was a time when a lot of companies provided a pension, and in the pension plan, the company put all the money in there. And then you worked for 30 years, they gave you a gold watch, and they gave you a monthly check as long as you were living. But as pensions started going away, the employers, well, they're a little sneaky, weren't they? They shifted the liability, they shifted the obligation for accumulating nest egg assets from the company to who? They shifted it to you. And they created these 401k plans so that you could contribute money. Some employers would match it, right? They would do matching as an incentive to attract, recruit, retain quality employees. And you would put your hard-earned money in there paycheck after paycheck. But they were meant for what's called the accumulation phase, the growth phase. Think of what's inside the 401k. It's mostly mutual funds, right? Mostly stock mutual funds. And they were really designed for people who are dollar cost averaging and adding money paycheck after paycheck for 20, 30 years or more, the accumulation phase. They were never meant for retirees. Why? Because there's only a certain number of investments that are available inside there. We're going to talk about that more in just a minute. But before I talk about those problems, let's talk about problem number 2. Another huge reason that most of you are going to want to roll over your company retirement plan into an IRA is because it's a tax time bomb. You heard me right, it's a tax time bomb. Most of you don't know this, but your 401k has something called a plan document. And by the way, you have the right as the employee to order a copy of that plan document. All right. Now, what they give most employees is something called an SPD. That stands for summary plan document. It's a little tiny little booklet that doesn't really go into the depth that the full plan document has. But if you can get your hands on that full plan document and you go through it and you read it, and something we do for our clients, you don't have to read it. We'll read it for you. But you might find out that there's a tax time bomb hiding in your 401k plan. Why? Because most 401ks and most company retirement plans, they actually force a lump sum distribution to the kids if you die. You heard me right. Many of you have what's called a primary beneficiary, but you also have a successor or contingent beneficiary. Now, I like to joke around sometimes. You know, if you happen to be married watching this video and you have a beneficiary choice on your company retirement plan, well, If you want to stay married, you probably listed your spouse as the primary beneficiary. But guess what? A lot of people have children or they have other beneficiary goals, and they've listed what's called a non-spousal beneficiary, either as the primary or as the contingent beneficiary. So think about this, even in a married couple, do you know who's going to go first? What if your spouse has predeceased you, so they're not there to receive the asset? They're not there to inherit the 401k. Or God forbid, you're both killed in a car accident simultaneously. Now there's a major problem because that 401k is often going to distribute the assets as a lump sum. That's what we're talking about, that tax time bomb. Here come the kids and they're getting a giant bucket of money. You know, some 401ks are hundreds of thousands, sometimes even millions of dollars. And imagine your loved ones, think about the kids, they're already working, they might be in a good tax bracket, they might be in a 25% tax bracket. If you live in California, they're probably in a 40% tax bracket, whether they make any money or not, right? I'm sorry, I get bored, I had to have a little fun with that. But now, whatever tax bracket they're in, this huge lump sum comes in on top of that. Do you know what tax bracket we see those assets get hit with? Well, you guessed it. It's usually some bananas crazy amount. It's often 40% or more goes to the IRA, goes to the IRS or the state you live in. So you want to avoid that tax time bomb because if you roll the 401k over into an IRA, the IRA has a lot of tax laws that are different than the 401k, and it can give those loved ones some tax control. We'll probably do a whole nother video just on that. But let me get into the third reason that you really want to roll over your 401k into an IRA when you retire. And that's because you have a lack of investment selections inside the 401k. You know, my clients want choices. They want to use the entire universe of investments. And oftentimes when you're retired, you're looking for more income. Even if you don't need more income, guess what? When you reach a certain age under current, as of this video, when you reach the age of 72, the IRS is going to force you to start taking money out of that 401k or company retirement plan or IRAs, right? So now here comes a forced distribution, whether you want it or not. Why do they make you take the money out? Because they want you to pay tax. You've been deferring tax for decades and decades, and the government says, we want some tax dollars now. So they're going to force you to take money out. Now, what's the problem? If it's in the 401k, how are you going to get the money from the 401k into your bank account? Well, I have some bad news for you. You're going to be using what we call the liquidation method. You're going to be having to sell shares of the mutual funds to get money from the fund company into your bank account. Why is this a problem? Because you could be selling shares into a recession. You could be selling shares into a down market. You know, those shares are not renewable assets. Let's say you have 1,000 shares of a mutual fund and you need some money and you have to sell 10 shares. Now you have 990 shares. The next month you have to sell 10 more shares. Now you have 980 shares. But guess what? If the stock market drops, now instead of selling 10 shares, you might have to sell 20 shares to get the same amount of money out of the 401k plan. God forbid you retired in 1999 and the stock market dropped 50% over the next 3 years. Not only was the stock market going down, you were cannibalizing your shares as you had to sell more and more shares. Here's the big problem. I want you to think of your 401k money as having 3 buckets. Let's go through those buckets. Bucket number 1, cash or a money market. Now, if that required distribution is, say, 4%, and the money market, bucket 1, is making 0.1%, that's literally where we are with interest rates. You're probably making 0.1% in the safe bucket in your 401k. But you've got to take out 4. How are you going to get the money? You've got to cannibalize the money. You're basically getting into your principal. You don't want to get into the principal. You don't want to outlive your money. This is a huge problem. Now, what's bucket number 2? You say, well, I don't want it in cash. I put it in the safe bond funds. Well, I have some bad news for you. Those bond funds pay income, but most bond funds are paying a paltry 1, 2, maybe 3% in interest and dividends. So the interest from those bonds is not enough to satisfy the distribution. So back to the problem. Where are you going to get the money? You're going to use the liquidation method. You're going to sell shares of the bond fund. It's a bad idea. Don't do it. And now for the last bucket. What's bucket number 3? It's the stock mutual funds. Here's the problem. You need income. You need money to distribute that money, but there isn't really any income. You know why? As of this recording, the average dividend in the S&P 500 index and those stock funds, it's usually a little bit over 1%. So if you told the 401k, hey, don't sell my shares, just send me some income, I have some bad news. There isn't much income to speak of. It's probably about 1%. Well, you have to take out 4. So how are you going to get the money from the 401k to the bank account? You're going to have to use the liquidation method. You're going to have to sell shares. Think of it. You're cannibalizing your assets. You never want to be selling shares to get the money out of your company retirement plan. Now, the good news is there are solutions for this. And at McAdams Group, we believe that your planning should be simple, easy, inexpensive. We want to help you increase income, increase safety, while decreasing risk, decreasing unnecessary fees. To get your complimentary review with a retirement specialist, just click the link below, fill out a simple 60-second questionnaire, and we can help.